Hello, Culture Matters podcast. We're back again with another culture content. Follow me, Jay Doran underscore the culture man on Instagram for videos, short videos on business, leadership, culture, so much more. Today, I'm expanding, actually recording this on Christmas Eve of all days. Best day, great day to record, great day to prepare for the next year. Recording this Christmas Eve. The topic is the unspoken rules of workplace relationships. Don't know what the heck that actually means or what that could mean. The first thing that stuck in my mind, the unspoken rules, if there are any of workplace relationships, I think there are two things that stick out. Our actions say a lot more about our work, about who we are at work, than what we say. But what we say and who we say it to and how we go about saying impacts work a heck of a lot. So I want to talk about two things. One is responsibility and another is triangulation. Triangulation and responsibility. So first is, the unspoken rules. If there's any rules of the workplace, one is that our work can our actual work. What is our work? It's not just what we do, it's how we do it and how we sacrifice while doing it. I think the idea of work ethic, the idea of work ethic comes to mind. What is your actual work ethic? And what does that say about who you are as a leader in an organization? So let's look up the term work ethic first. What does work ethic mean? We're talking about the unspoken rules of the workplace. Work ethic, the principle that hard work is intrinsically virtuous or worthy of reward. Well, why would that be the case? Why would work ethic intrinsically um, is intrinsically virtuous, right? Intrinsically, that means by nature, character in itself. What does intrinsically mean in simple words? Describe something closely connected to or inseparable from something. So work ethic is intrinsically virtuous. What's virtuous? Virtuous, having or showing high moral standards, righteous, good, moral, ethical, upright, upstanding, high-minded, right-minded, right thinking, principled, exemplary, clean, law-abiding, lawful, irreproachable, blameless, guiltless, unimpeachable, honest, honorable, incorruptible, anti-corruption, scrupulous, reputable, decent, respectable. So it's intrinsically good, intrinsically righteous, intrinsically ethical. Why? Why would work ethic, and what does this have to do with the unspoken rules in the workplace? I think that part of the unspoken rules of the workplace is that our work will speak for us. Our results will speak for us. Our labor will speak for us. How we do our work matters. How good we are at work matters. Not just what we produce, but how we go about producing it. This isn't a game we're playing just by ourselves, yet our pride, our sense of ownership matters, how we show up matters with other people as well. It's not just an individual game, it's an individual and group game. How we work with others matters as much, if not more, with how we show up as an individual ourselves. And there's this individual and this group conversation. I want to look up sacrifice because some of the unspoken rules of the workplace have to do with sacrifice, an act of slaughtering an animal. Oh, that's not what that's the definition. Um, ooh, what is the real meaning of sacrifice? To suffer loss of, give up, renounce, injure, or destroy. So this is why I'm bringing up the word sacrifice. For an ideal, a belief, or an end. We destroy who we could be when we work, meaning there's a sacrificial element to work. If I'm showing up to work, I'm showing up, I'm benefiting, of course, for that work, but the benefit that I'm receiving is in the future. There's a sacrifice of what I could be doing if I show up today for work, right? This podcast, for example, I'm recording this podcast. I could be doing other things. Now, there's a selfish benefit in the short term for this. It might feel good that I did it because I said I was going to do it. I told myself I was going to do it. I'm doing it. There's going to be a long-term, so that's a short-term benefit. Long-term benefit was, it's building the accumulation of information available to demonstrate my competence, my character, my and ultimately could have an influence over whether we have the opportunity to do business. There's a long-term benefit. There's also a short-term cost. There are other things that I could be doing right now to occupy my space time. This could be the last thing that I ever do. Is this really how I want to use the last 20 minutes of my life? Meaning, in that thought experiment, I don't know what the future brings. This could be my last 20 minutes. This is not a selfish act as an end in itself. This is a means to an end, selfishly, where, I'm going to get something in the future from this for myself. I may or may not. It's still a probability, but there's a service aspect to this because you're getting something. If you resonate with this conversation, you're getting something from me doing this. What I'm going to get is in the future. What you're getting is right now. You're digesting. There's a sacrificial element because I could be doing something else for myself that's more rewarding for my current self in this moment. Because this is work. Like I'm sacrificing what I could do, maybe even what I want to do. I mean, shoot, I didn't even want, I want, but don't want to do this, right? There's, how am I going to show up? Will I be good? Is it going to be as good as I hope or, is expected of me? There's this challenge to my character to show up and do this. There's a sacrifice to the point where I'm going with it. There's a sacrificial element to work. There, it's and there's a service to others in that selfish endeavor. I'm going to be rewarded in the future for what I don't do for myself now. That's for you. That's for someone else. What does this have to do with the unspoken rules of the workplace? Sacrifice and work ethic. I talked about that. It said intrinsically virtuous. There's something intrinsically virtuous, value creating, good, upright for others in work, in the sacrifice of our space time. There's other things that I want to do now because there might be more enjoyable, more consumptive, more beneficial to me in the short term that I would enjoy doing. And I don't know what the future brings. All I have is right now. But I'm living between the past and the future as a present individual. As individuals, we're caught up between the future and the past, what could be and where we've come from. And what we do today is based on where we've come from and what could be. What do we want? Where are we going? And, there's going to be sacrifice with every choice based on what we want and where we're going. And we're battling with where we've come from and what we've worked through and been through and faced and learned from. As individuals, we're wrapped up in the past and the future, in our present, through our present. And the unspoken rules of the workplace is What are you carrying? How much are you sacrificing? How much value are we creating? How good am I? How good are you at what it is you're tasked with doing? And how much are you sacrificing? It's not just competence, it's sacrifice, it's commitment, it's the unspoken rules of the workplace. Are we all in? Or at what degree are we all in? It's not just an inner scorecard game. We're working with other people. So it reminds me of lecture 5 in the personality and transformation courses on the Peterson Academy, where Peterson's talking about how we play games. And there's 2 games going on in the Harry Potter Quidditch game. There's the game Quidditch, where they're trying to get the ball in the goal. That's the game, based on winning and losing. We're our competency for playing the game is high or low, and there's multiple people, teammates playing, trying to score the goal, win or lose. That's one game. There's also another game. There's the game of all games, which is how we play. There's the game of all games represented in the snitch, the catching of the snitch. If you catch the snitch, you win the game. You can win the game and not catch the snitch and lose. And there's these 2 games happening at the same time. One is that we win or lose. That's one game. Then there's the game of all games, which is how we play. How we play is a reflection of the call to our destiny and our conscience. Are we how well do we play with others? So the unspoken rules of the workplace is our workplace environment, the success of our company, the company culture's value is going to have a relationship with how we play the game with others. And how we play the game with others has a relationship with how clear our aim is and our work ethic, which has a relationship with the degree by which we're willing to sacrifice our short-term wants and needs for our long-term wants and needs. And despite our selfishness, the sacrifice of our short-term wants and needs creates short-term value for other people. By me not doing something else that I would like to do, or by me not just cowering over in fear of the potential anxiety coming as a consequence of facing my fears to do this podcast about this topic that I wasn't really sure about, by me facing those fears of short term and just going eating a donut instead, and sacrificing my space time, because this could be the last thing I ever do, I'm losing out in the short term on more desirable, less scary, less tough, challenging things for the long-term benefit of myself that I might never get for the short-term benefit of you listening, because you're getting something right now in this moment from listening to this. If you want, of course, that's assuming you want to listen to this. This is valuable to you. You're getting something. So my short-term sacrifice is leading to your short-term gain in the hopes that I have a long-term gain. If I even have one, it's on a probability. I might never get anything for myself from recording this, because this could be the last thing I ever do. I never benefit from this investment of my time and energy and intellectual property and knowledge, and that is a sacrificial act. Sacrifice is a unspoken rule of workplace relationships, because the relationship we have with our work has to do with our capacity and willingness to sacrifice, which has a relationship with our aim and how clear we are and where we're going and why. And that has a relationship with how competent we become at what it is we're tasked in doing. Do I know what I'm doing? Do I know enough about this topic to be of value? I mean, we're about to find out. What am I really made of? And am I willing to do it? Can I face my fears? Am I willing to sacrifice what I want now for what I want in the future so that you could benefit in the short term now? The unspoken rules of the workplace is that our actions and our results speak loudly about who we are in the workplace. It's also about how we play the game matters long term because we're playing a game with other people and other people have to choose to play with us. How we compete matters. That we cooperate with our teammates matters. Because if we don't cooperate with our teammates, we're going to end up competing against our teammates. And we're going to be less likely to beat our competitors at a game where we've got to cooperate with our teammates. How often do we see cultures, company cultures, where the team is not cooperating, co-operating, working as a team? The values are not intrinsically virtuous. They're not just and good and honorable, but they're unjust and bad and dishonorable. There is disrespect. There is a lack of trust. There are, enemies among friends and infighting, and productivity wanes, performance wanes, and profit is eaten up. Profit and purpose have a relationship. The unspoken rules of the workplace are profit and purpose have a relationship. The purpose of the organization is its identity, its values, its story, its language, its symbolism, the rituals that are adhered by the management, and the cohesion that comes as a consequence of all of the above leads to profit. And that profit is a call to responsibility, an obligation to reinvest into the future, to give up short-term gain for long-term gain. And it's this balance between short and long-term gain, short and long-term, short-term sacrifice for long-term gain. If it's an absence of short-term sacrifice, there might be a long-term sacrifice. We've eaten up all the stores of food and now we've got nothing for the winter. So I talked about triangulation. It's our actions are going to be, our work ethic is going to be revealed in our actions, what we don't do and what we do. And our actions and our results will speak loudly about us and how we're working and how we're playing the game. And I think our work ethic, right? The intrinsic virtuosity of our work ethic, what are we giving up? Where are we going? I think that has a relationship to do with our communication. Is it direct? Is it rooted in confidence and esteem and courage? Or is it indirect? Is it rooted in insecurity, a lack of security, a lack of conscience, a lack of esteem? Then it would be indirect. We have a lack of security. Where does security come from? It comes from the pride and the knowingness of getting things done, of being of integrity, of keeping our word to ourselves and others. Follow me on Instagram, Jay Doran _ the culture man for more culture content. Today, I'm talking about the unspoken rules of the workplace. There's much more to come, much more to say on the topic. Please leave us a review on the Culture Matters podcast. And we'll see you next time.